We now join this ESPN international program already in progress.
And they're just glad to have Jeter back. As I said, Jeter is kind of the glue that holds this team together. And they just feel much better when he's at the top of the lineup. Plus, he's a great defensive shortstop.
Jeter, who had a pulled oblique muscle in the left rib cage, and he said it was really a disabling injury there for several days. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't run, he couldn't throw, he couldn't bat. He said at times it hurt just to walk. Now we're getting ready to start. Jeff Fry will lead it off against Roger Clemens. 55,000 in here again tonight. The third straight sellout over the weekend with the Red Sox in town. This ballpark opened, as we said, in 1923. It was a Red Sox-Yankees game in April of '23, and Babe Ruth, the former Red Sox, hit a home run in a Yankee win. And this ball went too low, so a little of that Babe Ruth charisma, that little Babe Ruth magic, Roger Clemens is hoping will rub off on him tonight as he faces the Red Sox. The last time he faced them was in that playoff game at Fenway last October. That was a nightmare. Ooh. Apparently a little bit high. Ed Rapalano, the home plate umpire. 2 balls and no strikes. Trot Nixon and Brian Daubach to follow. The Red Sox won the first game of the series Friday night behind Ramon Martinez. The Yankees equalized yesterday. That fastball is in there for a called strike. And one thing that we should bring out, because of yesterday's ball game, when El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, injured his back during warm-ups and could not make the start, the Yankees got 5 innings from Jason Grimsley coming out of the bullpen, and then 3 innings from reliever Mike Stanton. So their bullpen's a little bit thin. Tonight they need some innings from Roger. It's a foul into the upper deck, off to the right. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, we've seen Roger range from about 95 high to 91. He dropped down to 91 to throw the 2-0 fastball for a strike. So he has his good fastball tonight, and it looks like it has great movement on it. And you can always tell how good a game he's going to have by the first couple of innings.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Back to Clemens. Run away.
Well, that shows he's got confidence in the slider tonight. That's the first time he has thrown it. Threw 4 fastballs, got 2 balls, 2 strikes, threw a good slider right over the outside corner. Watch the location. It's the slide right on the outside corner. Look at that. Slider down and away, and Fry hits the top of it. Right back to Roger.
Now Trot Nixon will come up. Nixon is hitting .318, 5 homers, 27 batted in. 1 down, nobody on. Strike, and it's 0-1.
When you look at Roger's statistics, John, they're kind of interesting in that right-handed hitters are hitting .280 against him, and left-handed hitters are hitting .239. That tells you that his splitter is really working well against the left-handed hitters.
Too high with the fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, he came to the Yankees from Toronto, and he had 2 outstanding years in Toronto. In his last 40 starts with the Blue Jays, he was 21-9 with a 2.71 ERA. In his first 40 starts with the Yankees, 18-14 and a 4.52 ERA. Good fastball at 95 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And this is what he tries to do, get ahead of you. And now here's this, he has the splitter that he can go to, or he can get you to try to chase the fastball up and out of the strike zone. There's the splitter. And that pitch, you can see how the movement down and away, that's why he can be so successful against left-handed hitters.
Daubach on deck. Another splitter, and he took it. 3-2.
Good discipline at the plate there by Nixon, because that pitch started near the strike zone and really the bottom fell out.
37-year-old Roger Clemens. He turned 38 in August. 3-2 the count. Strike three called.
And Roger gets his first strikeout. And like I said, he's very successful against left-handers this year. And he just paints the outside corner with a fastball. Watch, it's moving away from Nixon. And Ed Rapuano says strike three.
Ed Rapuano, a longtime National League umpire. Now a Major League umpire.
There is a difference, huh?
Pop up. Now he works both leads. Derek Jeter calls off Brocious. Dahlback has gone on one pitch, and it's a 3-up, 3-down first inning for Roger Clemens. Now Jeter himself will be coming up second against Pedro Martinez. Sunday Night Baseball from New York City. Red Sox nothing. The Yankees coming up. And there's Joe Torre. And in the Torre era here in New York, the Yankees have, in a franchise of greatness, have been particularly great. 3 World Series titles in 4 years. And the average year under Torre has been about 100 wins. Here's the Yankees Pepsi starting lineup. It'll be Chuck Knobloch back in the lineup at second base. Derek Jeter back for his second game off the disabled list. At shortstop, Paul O'Neill in right, Bernie Williams in center, Jorge Posada the catcher, Tino Martinez at first, Shane Spencer the DH, Ricky Leday in left, Scott Brocious at third. And on the mound for Boston, there he is, Pedro Martinez.
And Pedro, like I said, has 3 quality pitches. I mean, he has an overpowering fastball, a great curveball, and a magnificent changeup. And he just throws strikes with all pitches at any time.
Fastball on the outside, and it's 0-1 to Knobloch.
There are 2 schools of thought of how to hit him. One is to be patient, try to get him deep into the count. The other is to attack him first. I think you have to go after him. I would hate to be behind in the count against a guy that has so many great pitches.
First baseman Stanley, foul territory, and Knobloch is gone. 1 away.
And that's when I ball up and in, and that's very difficult for a right-handed hitter to handle. And there's the defense for the Red Sox. Omar Garcia-Parra is back. He, like Jeter, the glue to this infield.
I remember one of the lingering feelings from the postseason last year with the Red Sox really struggled defensively last year. Count is 0-1.
Well, you see Jeter going up there with my theory, swing. The 93-mile-an-hour fastball. He was a little late on it, but I think you have to attack Pedro.
1 strike the count. But the fist foul.
John, I think also the fact that he faced some Double-A pitching before he came here. He had a good game yesterday. I don't think anyone's had the fastball that Pedro's had. And so far, that's all he's thrown. But in the back of the hitter's mind, they know that he has a great curveball and a great changeup. So that's always in the back of your mind. That makes the fastball get on you just a little quicker.
And he fouls that one off to the right. Jeter with 4 hits in 19 career at-bats against Pedro. And in 9 of those 19 at-bats, Jeter has struck out. Nearly half. 0-2. Changed up on him. And this is going to be a base hit.
It may look like a cheap hit, but let's face it, he fought off all fastballs, and then he came with the changeup, and usually that's a strikeout pitch for Pedro after that many fastballs. And there's the changeup, but Jeter stays right on it. You see his head is on it. Watch his head. He stays right there, just trying to make contact, and he does put the ball in play. And anytime you put the ball in play, you have a chance of getting a base hit, because that is usually a strikeout pitch right there for Pedro Martinez.
Now Jeter can also steal a base, and Pedro last year allowed 21 steals in games that he started. O'Neill, the hitter, too low. The first hitter that he has not started with a strike. Pedro had 21 steals against him in his starts last year, but also 10 who were thrown out trying to steal. Jeter with 9 steals, 8th best in the league, even though he spent time in the disabled list. Only been thrown out 1 time. Up to the screen. O'Neill rolled over his ankle and played the wall in yesterday's game. And Joe Torre was really fearful that O'Neill was going to have to be taken out of the game, maybe even miss a few days. But O'Neill stayed in the lineup, and he says there's a little stiffness in that left ankle tonight. And during batting practice, he was there flexing it and working on it with the trainer between his batting practice at bats. O'Neill, I think, he plays better when something's wrong. He's always got something wrong. Those lingering shots of him in the '97 postseason when he had that hamstring pull, and it played beautifully. Change up, a check swing, an appeal to the third base umpire Bill Miller, denied.
And John, one of the reasons that it's tough to steal off Pedro consistently is because he does pay attention to the runner at first base. A lot of great pitchers do not concern themselves as much with a runner at first base. Pedro works to hold him close.
Big hole on the right side with Jeter over there. The outfield shaded a bit toward left against O'Neill. 2-1 the count. Jeter was a little late actually going into that dive.
Well, he was on his way to second base. He was about to take a step. And watch, he makes a see right there. He buckled, his knees buckled. He started to go to second base or towards second. I don't know if he was going to steal, but he was making his break.
2-1. Just like that, the Yankees are gone. Garciaparra coming up, then Everett when we come back. No score after 1 inning from Yankee Stadium, and that's the view from high overhead, courtesy of the Gum Out aerial cam. They've made the trip here to the big city with us. We're glad to have them. Nomar Garciaparra. He had a hamstring problem. Slider for a strike. Garciaparra hitting .346, but only 2 home runs, 19 batted in. So definitely with Garciaparra, the best is yet to come. On the inside corner, strike 2 call.
And we see Roger Clemens at his best right there. Good slider, knee high over the outside corner. And then he comes back with a fastball on the inside corner.
Garciaparra led the league in hitting last year, .357, and the splitter for the strikeout.
That's a hitter's nightmare, not being able to see any pitches 2 consecutive times in the at-bat, not being able to see 2 fastballs or 2 sliders or 2 curveballs. He saw 3 different speeds, a slider, a fastball, and a splitter, all 3 different speeds. And he's not even close to this one. That's a great splitter right there, especially no balls and 2 strikes.
1 down. Now Carl Everett, the big offseason acquisition of the Red Sox. He had been with Houston. And thus far, as the slider is taken too low, he has been everything the Red Sox had hoped for. Hitting .331, 14 homers, 42 batted in. Some feel we had the 2 best center fielders in the American League in this game tonight. Up the middle, base hit. The big turn at first by Everett, but he holds on as Bernie Williams, the Yankee center fielder, gets it back in. Everett, who had been in the Yankee farm system, and this week in the New York Times, he was the subject of a column in which he had been very critical of the Yankees.
Just the fastball out over the middle of the plate, and he rips it right back through the middle for a base hit.
So Everett is aboard. He's also capable of stealing a base. He has 5 steals so far this year. The batter will be Mike Stanley. Stanley, take a look at his knees. He's got braces on both knees, and he has been slumping here in the month of May, and Surely, Joe, if you got problems with both knees, that's got to affect your hitting.
Anytime you have problems with your legs, it's going to affect your hitting, because most hitters use their legs to generate bat speed. So what it does is makes you swing with just the upper part of your body, so you're not going to have the same bat speed you would have if your legs were healthy.
Tino Martinez on the bag at first with Everett. Stanley, dangerous home run hitter, got 9 home runs so far this year, but only hitting .236. He's out. Clemens has picked him off.
A great tag by Tino. He caught the ball and made the swipe all in one motion. And the first base umpire, Brian Runge, says he got him in the air. Now watch the tag. You see, he was leaning the wrong way as well. And Tino Martinez, watch the quick tag by Tino.
And there's a called strike to Stanley with 2 down and nobody on. It was a very close play at first. Brian Runge made the call. Splitter too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Really, for the Yankee fans, that was ever so sweet that Clemens picked somebody up, but in particular that it was Everett. That's a foul.
But John, both pitchers caught the base runners leaning. Martinez caught Jeter leaning, but he was able to get back. And of course, Clemens caught Everett leaning. Both of them looked like they were about to break for second base. And the pitchers, as I said, they're both concentrating on holding the runners, and that's what you have to do. Whether you pick them off or not is not really that important, but the fact that you keep them close and give your catcher a chance to throw them out if they do go.
Pedro Martinez, the Red Sox ace, watching the former Red Sox ace. Roger Clemens on the mound. 2 down, nobody out. No score, second inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Stanley. Struck him out. The high hard one. 3 strikeouts for the Rocket. Last of the second, Bernie Williams coming up. There is no score. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Gum Out. Red Sox nothing, Yankees nothing. Last of the second inning. And a reminder, the NHL Stanley Cup Finals are soon to be upon us. The Dallas Stars and the New Jersey Devils. It gets started Tuesday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN. Game 2 will be on June the 1st again, and then every other game will be on ABC. Pop fly by Bernie Williams. And the shortstop, Garcia Parra, out there to grab it. So Bernie is gone on 1 pitch.
How about them Devils, man? Coming from 3 games to 1 down and playing for the Stanley Cup.
Well, the first 2 games, Thursday game 2, and then game 3 on Saturday. That'll be on ABC, and every other game throughout the rest of the series, however long it goes, will be seen on ABC Sports. And there's the schedule for games 5, 6, and 7 if necessary. And I think for a change they should be necessary this year.
I think there probably will be. They're 2 very good teams.
Jorge Posada. Bernie Williams retired. 10 homers and 40 batted in for Bernie, so getting him on 1 pitch is certainly a bonus. And the curveball to Posada in there for a strike. Posada, the Yankees regular catcher. Joe Girardi went to the Cubs. And Posada doing a great job. Great job behind the plate and an even better job hitting. He's hitting .349. 10 homers, 25 batted in, but he's in a quick hole here. 0-2 the count. Curveball a little bit low.
That was a really good curveball right there. A great 0-2 pitch. Only Posada's discipline kept him from swinging at that.
Curveball for the strikeout.
So I think once you get behind Pedro, you get to 1-2 or 0-2. You're in serious trouble. You just have to become defensive because he has such a variety of pitches to throw at you, and then he just gets you to chase it. He took the 0-2 curveball, but here's another one. Look at it. Look at this. The bottom just falls out of it. And that's his first strikeout.
The last time he pitched here at Yankee Stadium, as you mentioned at the outset of the telecast, Joe, he had 17 strikeouts, the most ever against the Yankees in the Yankees' long history. Tino Martinez starts him with a curveball and misses inside. Tino, 268, only 4 home runs. In that ball game last September the 10th, Pedro, in addition to having 17 strikeouts, had no walks and only gave up 1 hit.
And the guy that got the hit is no longer here.
Center field, Everett. The Yankees go down 1-2-3. The Rocket and Pedro starting strongly. No score after 2.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is brought to you by FogDog.com, the athlete's toy store.
Times Square, kind of the heart of the theater district, 47th and Broadway right there. And meanwhile, up here in the Bronx, the big ballpark, no score after 2 innings. Clemens and Pedro have both started well. Troy O'Leary. Now, he's a guy that the Red Sox would like to see get going. He has been in a slump throughout this month. O'Leary hitting only .222 for the year. 5 homers, only 16 batted in. He was a 100 RBI man for them last year.
And he had some big hits in this series against Cleveland to help get them in position to play the Yankees for the American League Championship last year.
Hit .280, had 28 homers, 103 batted in. Drove in 83 the year before and 80 the year before that. Troy O'Leary, 30 years old. Well, Rogers got a little
giddy up on that
That's
fastball.
it. I was looking for that phrase.
Yeah, he got a little giddy up on it. He has good movement, and I noticed that in the first inning. His ball was really live. And you can see Joe Torre agrees with us. He's nodding there.
2-2 to count.
Stottlemyre, Mel, the pitching coach.
Todd's dad.
Yeah.
Todd Stottlemyre, that's Mel on the right. Todd, his son, has won 8 games this year so far for Arizona.
Man, good fastball, just moved off the outside corner.
John Valentin and Jason Varitek will follow. There's Mel Stottlemyre, an outstanding pitcher here for the Yankees. Back in the 60s and into the 70s. 3-2 to count. Right field. O'Neill got plenty of room. The edge of the warning track. 1 away.
John, I want to take a moment. Home plate umpire Ed Rapuano wanted me to send along his condolences and the rest of the crew to Greg Bonet, whose mother passed away. Her name was Ruby. And we want to send our condolences along as well to Greg. There's Ed Rapuano, home plate umpire.
1 out, nobody on. John Valentin. Slider misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, I'm sure Greg Bonet appreciates it. An excellent umpire. And doing their jobs on a daily basis, they're not going to get much sympathy for anything that happens in their lives. So I'm glad you pass that remembrance along. 2 balls and no strikes to Valentin.
There's John Shulock. He's the crew chief.
Ball strike down around the knees. 2-1 now to Valentin. Valentin has only played in 8 games this year with injury problems. He got 2 homers.
And 2 RBIs.
Slider misses a little bit low. 3-1. He was one of the heroes when they made that dramatic comeback in the division series against Cleveland. They were down 2-0 in the best-of-5 series, and Valentin almost single-handedly fueled the comeback with a couple of 3-run homers in Game 3 of that series. And then everybody else joined in the next 2 games. The shortstop right to Jeter. Number 2. 2 down, nobody on in the 3rd inning. No score in the game. Be sure and log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com for the most complete baseball coverage on the internet. It's all there. Check it out. MajorLeagueBaseball.com. Now Jason Varitek, the switch hitter, the Boston catcher, hitting .308, 2 homers, 13 batted in. 2 down, nobody on. Clemens has given up 1 hit. That was to Carl Everett. And it's 0-1 to Varitek. But he picked Everett off. So if he gets Varitek here, he will have faced the minimum number of hitters through 3.
When the game started, it looked like he was just kind of hyped up. He was overthrowing a little bit. Now I think he's settled into a groove, and he just feels that you can see the rhythm is a little better.
I mean, that is a hard split-fingered pitch, 88 miles an hour. 0-2 the count. Just got a piece of that one. And he stays alive. 0-2 the count. I asked Posada if Clemens threw a changeup, and he said that he will throw a changeup off his splitter. So I guess he got a couple of different speeds in that split-fingered pitch. Well, it seems like we've seen the hard splitter so far tonight from the Rocket. 0-2 the count. Fastball off the outside.
And the reason the split-fingered fastball is so effective is because it looks like a fastball out of his hand, but you can't read any rotation on it, so it looks like a straight fastball. It gets to the plate about 10 feet out in front of the plate. It just drops straight down.
The splitter too low. 2-2 the count. Posada says that Clemens is easy to catch. But he said when he first started catching it, because last year usually Joe Girardi did the catching when Clemens pitched. He said at first it was very difficult. Clemens throws a very heavy ball. But once he learned Roger, he said it was very easy to work him behind the plate. That slider off the outside. So from 0-2, it's gone to 3-2. Leadoff man Jeff Fry is on deck. He said he was tough to pitch at first because when things were going well for him, he did have a lot of movement on his pitches. 3-2 the count. And the split-fingered pitch is tapped foul, so Varitek stays alive.
And John, the difference between hitting against Pedro and hitting against Roger is that everything Roger throws is hard. For instance, this is the splitter again, but it's hard. Pedro, you always have to have in the back of your mind that he can change speeds, and he has a great changeup. So that makes his fastball that much more effective. But everything Roger throws is hard. You just have to make up your mind very quickly whether you're going to swing or not.
3-2. Struck him out. Clemens has 4 strikeouts in 3 innings. The last third of the Yankee batting order coming up now against Pedro. No score. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Gummout. The Red Sox nothing, the Yankees nothing. And now the Yankees in the last of the 3rd inning. Each pitcher has faced the minimum number of hitters thus far, although each team has a hit. Fastball for a strike to Shane Spencer. Spencer, .257 average, 8 homers, 23 batted in. He's the DH tonight. Ricky Leday on deck, then Scott Brocious. And a hard curveball low and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. You see the numbers for Shane Spencer. He's got a lot of power. 8 home runs and only 140 at bats. And that breaking ball down and away. 2-1 the count. Pedro Martinez, only 5 feet 11 inches tall, only 170 pounds. There's only one pitcher under 6 feet tall who made the Hall of Fame. Oh, nice pitch right on the outside corner. Strike 2, 2-2. That was the Yankee great. Whitey Ford. Yeah, that's it. You know your Hall of Famers.
Yeah, but I also know the short Hall of Famers.
Curveball is too low, 3-2. You guys kind of huddle together over in the corner there when you're up in Cooperstown?
No, when I talk to him, I can talk to him like this. I don't have to look up.
Hate those tall Hall of Famers. 3-2 the count now to Shane Spencer. Ooh, that's ball 4. Well, Pedro pitching inside there. He talked to us about his reputation for pitching inside.
The results are out there. 2 Cy Youngs, 1 in each league. I don't need to mention the things that I've done to prove that pitching inside works. And, you know, it's not just the level of being a headhunter that's going to work to my advantage. It's the fact that I'm going to pitch inside. And if they want to put that in their mind, that's a plus for me.
Ricky Leday, the hitter, strike called on the outside.
Well, I think he explained that very well. I mean, that's the way he's going to pitch. He was taught to pitch to use the inside part of the plate as well as the outside part of the plate. And if the hitters are conscious of the fact that he might come inside and that fear factor comes into play, it just helps him all the more.
0-1 to Leday. Changeup too low, and that was kind of boxed awkwardly by the catcher Baratek. 1 ball, 1 strike.
John, I think that reputation kind of started with him when he was in the National League because he was trying to pitch inside and he was a young pitcher and he didn't have that great control, and every once in a while the ball would get away inside.
And you're talking about that label of
a headhunter.
Headhunter, yeah. That's a foul.
And I remember Felipe Alou saying that he wasn't throwing at hitters. He was just trying to pitch inside. The ball would get away from him. But again, I think he has used that to his advantage. And he has hit 5 batters this season, which is not an enormous amount.
Clemens has hit 4. Clemens has that reputation among a lot of hitters as well. And Leday stays to talk it over with Ed Rapuano.
I think Leday thought that ball was low. It's a fastball on the inside part of the plate, and he thinks it's down.
Leday hit a home run yesterday. There's some Pedro Martinez fans out on the bleachers. Pedro's got his own rooting section out there. And I hope there's a lot of them, and then they have some big guys around him. Scott Brocious, the hitter. Spencer over at first, and that curveball snaps in there for a called strike.
John, one more thing about pitching inside. Pitching inside is an art. Just like Greg Maddux and the Atlanta staff basically pitch to the outside corner, Pedro pitches inside and outside. But it's not easy to pitch inside because you do not want to miss over the middle of the plate. So if you miss off the plate in, and that's when you knock a lot of hitters down.
Back out of play. 0-2 the count to Brocious. Leadoff man Chuck Knobloch is on deck. Pedro Martinez speaks English and Spanish fluently. I mean, he grew up speaking Spanish. But as you heard in that soundbite with him, he speaks English very well. He also speaks quite a bit of French. Used to play up in Montreal. Made an effort to learn that language. Fastball off the outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pedro also is thrilled to be on the same ball club with his brother Ramon. He said Ramon was like a father to him when he was a kid growing up. There's Ramon, who reminded people of Pedro at times on Friday when he beat the Yankees here 4-1. Changeup blowing outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And both of them, although they certainly don't have the same style as another great pitcher from the Dominican, one of the greatest pitchers to ever pitch in the major leagues, Juan Marichal. And Pedro, when he won his first Cy Young Award, made sure to remember Marichal. Pop up. Good first base, Stanley. And that is out number 2. We're talking about Pedro and his deep feelings about his brother Ramon, and he talked to us about that earlier this weekend.
Ramon, I think, has been my mentor, my father, my brother, my friend, everything to me. And just seeing him so proud of me and so proud of the things I achieved, I mean, made me realize that it was probably the reason why I did all those things.
A very poignant comment there about his brother Pedro.
And a lot of people,
about his brother Ramon from his brother Pedro.
and a lot of people may forget, but Ramon was one of the best pitchers in baseball until his shoulder. He had shoulder problems, and he's bouncing back now. But he had a great fastball and a great changeup, very similar to Pedro.
Knobloch takes a strike. Pedro saying his brother Ramon was his mentor, like a father, like a brother, and a friend. All of those things to him. And Ramon pitched awfully well here Friday. 7 2/3 innings, just 1 run, no walks. 5 strikeouts as the Red Sox took the first game of the series. Knobloch off the fist, foul off to the right. 0-2 the count. Big crowd here at Yankee Stadium. No score in the game. Knobloch fouled out to first his first time. Knobloch with 2 hits in 17 career at bats against Pedro. Not too many have ever done much damage against Pedro Martinez. Back to the bag is Spencer. Now he led off the inning with a walk, and there 2 outs later he's still at first base. Leday called out on strikes. Brocious popped out, and it's quickly 0-2 to Knobloch. Knobloch fouls that one into the upper deck. 0-2.
That's a pitch that Pedro doesn't use a lot, but that's his strikeout pitch as well as his changeup. He'll get 2 strikes on the hitter, and he throws it up and out of the strike zone. And if you try to pull it, you'll swing and miss. Knobloch doing a good job there, just staying alive.
Well, batters have swung and missed on more than 1/3 of Pedro's pitches this year. That's why Knobloch's doing a pretty good job here, just fighting off some tough pitches. 37% of every pitch he's thrown this year that a batter has swung at, the batter has missed. Just as a comparison, Clemens has always been an excellent strikeout pitcher. You've seen the batters swing and miss at 19% of the pitches they've swung at. Half as often as Pedro. 0-2. Just a little bit low on the outside. 1-2. Pedro with 2 strikeouts so far tonight. Now, in his last start last Tuesday, he lost 3-2. And the 3 runs he allowed in that game were the most earned runs he had allowed in the ball game since last August. That's how great he has been. Hard breaking ball outside. 2-2 the count. Pedro had gone 15 consecutive starts without allowing as many as 3 earned runs. Last time a major league pitcher had a streak like that, his name was Greg Maddux 6 years ago. 2-2. Knobloch fouls another one away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Knobloch quickly fell in the hole at 0-2. But he has really made Pedro work as Joe Kerrigan, the Red Sox pitching coach, looks on. The 2 of them reunited here in Boston. They had been teacher and student together in Montreal. 2-2 to Knobloch. Jeter would be next. Another foul into the upper deck.
That's an interesting confrontation because Martinez sees that Knobloch is just up there kind of fighting the ball off, so he really doesn't want to throw him much off speed because then he would be right on it. And that's why I say he's such a smart pitcher. He knows exactly what he's doing out there. He knows what the hitter is thinking.
Spencer at first, 2 down, no score, 3rd inning. Carl Everett is there. And slicing back into him. Quite an at bat by Knobloch, but Pedro prevails. A 9-pitch at bat. Top of the order for the Red Sox coming up. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball from Yankee Stadium, New York. The Red Sox and Yankees tied for first atop the American League East. The rubber match of their 3-game weekend series. No score as we head into the 4th inning. And Jeff Fry will lead it off, followed by Trot Nixon and Brian Daubach against Roger Clemens.
And this is the 2nd time through the order. Let's see if Roger stays with the same pitching pattern that he's used the first time through. No, he starts him off with a breaking ball, and that's what good pitchers will do. The 2nd time through the order, they'll change their pattern, and if they go the 3rd time through the order, they will change their pattern again.
1 strike the count to Jeff Fry, playing in place of the injured Jose Offerman, who's on the disabled list. In that playoff game last October at Fenway Park, game 3 of that series, when it was Clemens and Pedro Martinez, Roger Clemens gave up a triple to Jose Offerman on the 2nd pitch he threw in that game. A strike on the inside, 1-2 to count. That wasn't where the pitch was supposed to go, but it was in the zone. After Offerman led off the game with a triple, then John Valentin hit a 2-run homer, and just like that, you see Offerman in uniform tonight in the dugout, but not available. And it only got worse for Clemens. He was knocked out in the 3rd inning. A little bit low on the inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And John, what you have to do as a hitter, you sit there and you watch. When you're watching great pitchers work, you sit there and you watch how he pitches the other hitters. If you're right-handed, you watch how he pitches the other right-handers. If you're left-handed, you watch how he pitches the left-handed hitters. So you will try to pick out a pattern or have an idea about how he's going to pitch to you when you get to the plate.
The strikeout, number 5 for Roger Clemens.
Well, Roger's just in complete control. Look, a little breaking ball. That's a hard breaking slider down and away. But the key is it wasn't in the strike zone. He started it in the strike zone and had it break out. And that's what he does so well. When Roger gets ahead of you, he gets you to chase pitches. When Pedro gets ahead of you, he just basically overpowers you.
Ball 1 to Trot Nixon. He struck out looking his first time. So that fan who was posting the strikeout totals for Clemens, and in the middle of the strikeouts he had 19-18. That of course was the last year that the Red Sox won a World Series. The Yankees have won 25 and all since then. It was just a couple of years later that Babe Ruth, a Red Sox star, was sent to New York, and the fortunes of these franchises of course have been forever changed. That's a called strike on the outside. 1-2, but that was the 20th century. Now it's Pedro as a Red Sox. It's a new century, and the Red Sox are hoping to get rid of all of that once and for all. 1-2, and the splitter for the strikeout. And he's on a roll now. He's struck out 3 in a row, and 6 of the 11 he's faced.
And you can see, as I said, he gets them to chase pitches. Once he gets ahead of you, he does not throw a strike. He gets you to chase the splitter. It starts in the strike zone and goes down and away. And again, that's why he has so much success against left-handed pitchers. That pitch also moves away from the left-hander, and you can see it tumbling, but it doesn't look like that coming to the plate. It looks like it's about 95 miles an hour, and all of a sudden the bottom drops out.
Brian Daubach, he popped to short his first time. 2 down, nobody on. 4th inning, no score. Roger Clemens, who got roughed up in his last start against the White Sox last Tuesday, but as you mentioned, Joe, the start before that 10 days ago against the White Sox, here he pitched very well.
But he also had good stuff last time. He just made a couple of bad pitches in bad locations, left them out over the plate.
Check swing, that is a fair ball. Rapuano made the call. Daubach just got a couple of steps out of the batter's box, and a fine play turned in by Posada to get it before it went foul. Now the Yankees with Jeter, O'Neill, and Bernie Williams coming up against Pedro. No score. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Red Sox nothing against Roger Clemens. The Yankees nothing against Pedro Martinez. And the big guys are coming up now against Pedro, starting with Derek Jeter. Jeter got an infield hit, the only hit for the Yankees so far. He fouls that one off the facing of the upper deck. A lot of half inning when he was on deck.
A lot of hitters get ready to hit a lot of different ways. This is Derek Jeter in the on-deck circle, just relaxing, talking to some fans in the first row. Kids get him relaxed.
Along the right field line, that one is fair. And it hops into the seats, 2 bases. A bloop along the right field line, and Jeter has not made a hard contact yet, but he is 2 for 2 against Pedro.
Well, John, he's used the end of the bat the first time up to hit a tapper down the third base line. He used the handle of the bat this time to get a base hit down the right field line. Watch this. It jams him, and he just flares it down the right field line, in on his fist, right down the right field line for a double, and it bounces it to the stand for a ground rule double. First time up, right off the end of the bat, top it down the third base line. They don't draw pitchers in the score box. Just put numbers, and he's 2 for 2. And all hitters will tell you, well, they catch line drives that I hit, so this just evens it out.
He's had 5 hits and 6 at bats since coming back from the disabled list. Here's O'Neill. Yanks will have 3 shots to try and bring him home. Strike on the inside. Now, O'Neill didn't think so.
But what you'll see here from Pedro, he'll go at him hard, trying to keep him from pulling the ball. And if he thinks he can strike him out with a changeup, that's the only way he'll throw him a changeup. But he wants to try to get ahead with the hard stuff to keep him from pulling the ball. Because O'Neill's up there trying to pull the ball to the right side to advance Jeter over to third. There it is. Another good fastball. And this is again the advantage that Martinez has right here, because O'Neill knows that he doesn't want him to pull the ball, but he also knows that he has that great changeup, and he can't jump out there too quickly on the fastball.
O'Neill, now 37 years old, .312 batting average as a Yankee. Fastball too low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Last year was the first year since he became a Yankee back in 1993 that he did not hit 300.
And Joe, Paul O'Neill knows that he has the changeup. He knows he's going to throw it to him eventually, but he doesn't know when.
Tip, and he's still alive, just barely.
Most hitters can hit 92, 93 mile an hour fastball if they can sit on it and look for it. But Pedro keeps you from doing that because of his changeup. You have to recognize the pitch first, and in doing so, that makes the 92 mile an hour fastball about 96 miles an hour or 97.
All right, is he going to throw him a changeup here?
Well, me and Paul O'Neill do not know that. But he knows he has one. There it is. See, he knows he's going to get it. He just doesn't know when.
One away. Ball 1. Bernie popped up to short his first time on the first pitch that he saw. The Yankees getting a leadoff bloop double by Jeter here. Jeter is the only base runner in this game to have gotten past first base. And that snaps in there for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And John, that was just a great job of pitching to Paul O'Neill, because Paul O'Neill went up there knowing what his job is. Paul O'Neill's a smart hitter. He knew he had to pull the ball, and he just couldn't do it.
These spots, I mean, Pedro becomes even tougher to hit. Popped up. Bernie Williams, the Yankees RBI leader, unable to move Jeter over. The catch made by Valentin, the third baseman. 2 down, and now Posada.
Well, Johnny went just the opposite with Bernie Williams. He threw him a curveball for a strike. Then he comes with the fastball up under the hands. And Bernie could not catch up with it. He went hard with O'Neill and then soft. He went soft, and then he comes with the fastball right in under the hands. Look at that. He just can't get to it. Just a great pitch.
Jorge Posada struck out his first time, hitting .347 for the year. Jeter led off with a double. He's still out there at second base. And that curve is low. I mean, the Yankees, for the second consecutive inning, have had somebody lead off by getting on base, and they've not been able to move either one of those runners even so much as one base. Jeter's still out there at short. Garcia-Parra right behind him. Too far in with the fastball. 2-0. A tough lefty, a veteran. Tino Martinez on deck. There's Bernie Williams. They had an excellent start to his season, but nothing for him tonight against Pedro. That is a strike.
That was interesting there. Posada took that pitch like he was expecting to be a changeup. He really pushed his front shoulder in to try to stay there so he wouldn't pull off. But it was a fastball.
2-1 now to Posada. Changeup too low. 3-1. Posada, the Yankees' everyday catcher, and he has really been catching almost every day. Turner caught yesterday, but Posada has not started, just less than a handful of games total. Curves it on 3-1, and it's 3-2.
Well, that's why he's such a great pitcher. You never know what you're going to get, even when you get him in a hitter situation like 3-1, 2-0. Posada was looking 2-0. He thought he was going to throw him a changeup. He threw him a fastball. He's looking fastball here, and he throws him a curveball. So he pitches just the opposite of what the hitter thinks. He seems to know what the hitters are looking for. So he's not just overpowering with his stuff. He's very smart out there. He gets into the hitters' heads.
Belichick runs out to chat with him for a moment. Now back behind the plate. 3-2 to Posada. Jeter at second, 2 down. No score. Struck him out, and the inning is over.
That's magnificent pitching there, John.
That's 4 strikeouts for Pedro. Garcia-Parra coming up against the Rocket. No score.
Bill Pedro back in the studio as 10-10-9000 takes us to St. Louis for the Mets and the Cardinals. New York with 3 home runs today. This one from Edgardo Alfonzo. And the Mets sweep the Cards. The final score today was 6-2. It's the first time all year the Cards have been swept.
Well, the Mets with a great weekend in St. Louis. We're at the Bronx in New York, Yankee Stadium, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. That's the look at Yankee Stadium from a high overhead from the gum out aerial camera. Beautiful pictures of this historic ballpark. Roger Clemens, an historic pitcher, throwing ball 1 high and tight to Nomar Garcia-Parra. Garcia-Parra struck out his first time. 0-0. The Yankees with 2 hits. The Red Sox with 1 hit against Clemens. On the right field line, foul on the slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Let's show you Garcia-Parra's first at bat. Really overmatched here with Roger Clemens. Roger made great pitches on him. Threw him a curveball for a strike, a slider over the outside corner for strike 1, fastball inside corner, strike 2, a splitter for strike 3. See you later.
1 ball, 1 strike this time to Garcia-Parra. Good low fastball at 94 miles an hour, 1-2.
And John, this is a tough thing. When you've been on the disabled list like Garcia-Parra and Derek Jeter, and then you come back and you face these 2 overpowering pitchers, it's very difficult for you to get any rhythm. Jeter's gotten a couple of hits, but they've been off the end of the bat and off the handle. And Garcia-Parra is just overmatched, so to speak. And that's tough because, I mean, he's one of the better hitters in the league. But when you get back off the disabled list and you haven't faced this type of pitching, I mean, it's just very difficult to stand out there and get base hits. I mean, Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens both seem to be on the top of their game tonight. And the last inning, Pedro just got mad because Jeter got that group double. I mean, he just got mad and overpowered the rest of the hitters.
The Yankees' biggest hitters did nothing with Jeter out there at second base. 1-2 to Garcia-Parra. Too low.
And John, good pitchers do that. They get mad if you get a cheap hit off them. I've seen Randy Johnson get a blue hit. He just blows away the next 3 guys. I mean, that's what they do. They get angry if you get a cheap hit.
Jeter with 2 cheap hits tonight, but it has not done the Yankees any good. The splitter, another strikeout. Number 7 for Roger Clemens in 4 1/3 innings.
And it's just tough, you know, a guy like Garcia coming back and not having a chance to face someone this tough. And you see Roger, the reason that he throws 2 different speeds on that splitter is he splits his fingers wider when he wants it to go softer. And the hard one you're talking about, he doesn't split his fingers as wide on the pitch, on the ball.
Carl Everett. Like a changeup.
That was, I think, that was the one. He splits him a little wider. He gets a little more movement and a little softer speed.
Carl Everett got a base hit. His first time, the only Red Sox hit. Then he was picked off by Clemens shortly thereafter. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And he have got the base hit on the fastball, so you see Roger, he's going to try to maneuver around the fastball this time, try to get him to hit something else, either the slider or the splitter.
1 ball, 1 strike to Everett. High and tight. Here's another way of keeping track of the Rockets' strikeouts.
I guess they're launches, huh?
7 Rockets so far. There's another way. What happened to just K? 2-1 the count.
Great fastball right there.
Now see, now I can read that. Two balls, 2 strikes to Everett. Roger Clemens, who twice in his career pitched games where he had 20 strikeouts, the major league record. And he is reminding us of those days so far tonight. Number 8. And he has struck out 5 of the last 6 hitters.
And John, when he struck out the 20, he was doing it with an overpowering fastball and a hard slider. Now he's doing it with an overpowering fastball and a splitter. He just throws this ball by. Look at the movement on the ball. That's what gets Everett, not the speed. It was the movement.
And when he was in his great days with the Red Sox, he used to say that his fastball had more movement on it when he threw it down around the knees.
Well, that's true, and most good pitchers, when they get the ball down, they get on top of it a little bit more. They get more action on the down below. Up top, it's the riding fastball because they release it high, and it's just the overpowering fastball. You get more speed up, and you get more movement down.
1 strike to count to Stanley. Stanley struck out his first time. It's a foul into the upper deck, and quickly the count goes to 0-2. Clemens with 2 down and nobody out.
And John, you can just see him gaining more and more confidence with each pitch out there.
He has faced 14 hitters and struck out 8 of them. 5 of the last 6. The one that he didn't strike out in the last 6. Dahlback on a check swing hit a tapper in front of the plate. They're on their feet at Yankee Stadium. The 2-strike pitch. The splitter in the dirt.
Well, I think he was trying to really get a good sink on that splitter. He was going to strike him out with it. Just overthrew it, held on to it a little too long. But from 0-2, he had a foul to take. There it is again. See, he's overthrowing it now. He had perfect control. He was throwing it, starting it in the zone and moving out. But I think he's caught up in the moment a little bit here too. Who isn't? We all are caught up. He's just blowing guys away.
Clemens has admitted that at times he has to battle getting caught up in the excitement. A little too much adrenaline.
Those two pitches just shows you that, because remember, he hadn't done that all night.
2-2. And that's foul, third base side. Stanley is an outstanding fastball hitter. Clemens has thrown him 3 straight split finger pitches since getting ahead of him at 0-2. O'Leary would be next. 8 strikeouts for the Rocket in 4 2/3 innings. Clemens is already within 1 strikeout of equaling his season's high for strikeouts. He's not had more than 9 strikeouts in a game this year. 2-2. Popped up. Shallow left center. Bernie Williams. The inning is over. That's 15. Clemens has faced the minimum number. Tino Martinez coming up against Pedro. No score. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Last of the 5th inning. No score in the game. Tino Martinez. Ball 1 facing Pedro Martinez in the Bronx. Tino flied out to center his first time. 0-0. In too tight. 2 balls and no strikes. Shane Spencer and Ricky Leday will follow. And that's a pitcher, looks like a slider or a cut fastball.
Yeah, he doesn't really throw a slider as such. That's just the movement on his fastball. You know, you can grip it a little bit off to the side and you'll get that movement like a cut fastball. See, that one kind of moved back the other way. It's just all depends on where you hold it. If you hold a little bit off center to the right, it'll cut in. You hold a little bit off the center to the left, it'll move to the outside. You put the pressure on your index finger.
High in the air. Easy play for Everett. Center field. And there is one away.
Just thought about that. I don't know why I'm telling you all that, how you hold that. Are you planning on throwing some?
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at Pedro, how he got out of that last inning pitching to Posada. 2-0. Look at, see how he keeps his front shoulder in. He was looking change up. Now he comes with a curveball, 3-1. Another curveball. I mean, it's just great pitching there by Pedro Martinez. And he was in Posada's head because Posada was looking for a changeup, 2-0, and he threw him a fastball. He's looking for a fastball, 3-1. He threw him a curveball.
Shane Spencer. That curveball in there for a called strike. And when Pedro beat Clemens and the Yankees in that playoff game last year, and in the game before that he had pitched against Cleveland, deep into center, but Everett, plenty of room, has this one. I think that's the best hit ball of the game so far for the Yankees. Maybe for either team. 2 down, and here is Ricky Leday. But Pedro, who really was hurt and realized that he was risking his career, as we see the pitch totals, and they're throwing a lot of strikes here tonight, Clemens and Pedro. But Pedro was not right. He had the back problem, and he was throwing a lot of cut fastballs, and he was dropping down a little bit, more of a 3/4 delivery than over the top. And that one fouled off the plate umpire Ed Rapuano, and that hurt. Gene Monahan, the Yankee trainer, quickly out.
Well, it's like you said, John, most of the time umpires do not get any sympathy. But it's a fastball in, and it gets him right on the inside of the right knee. And there is a shin guard there, but you can see it stops. Looks like it stops just below where he was hit. So it gets him right on the inside. He has a shin guard on, but underneath the pants, but that was just above where the shin guard stops. That's got to be, I mean, that's a tough area to be hit in on your inside of your knee.
Well, he's having a hard time putting any pressure on that leg, it appears.
Well, the tough part is being able to bend down. See, that's the tough part, being able to get back in position to call the balls and strikes.
As he tried to shake it off here, he wants to stay in this game. We'll tell you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. See, we're giving him no sympathy.
I am. I'm giving him some sympathy because I've been hit with baseballs and I know how much it hurts.
No, he gets hurt. We're looking to get other business in there. Opportunity while nothing's happening to get something.
Well, that was you. That wasn't me. I wasn't involved in that.
No, you said, John, read this now, will you?
Well, what they might do, John, is just try to get through this inning, you know, this half inning, and then I would think that someone else would take over, because I don't think he's going to be able to bend down for 4 or 5 more innings.
And I mean, he's still trying to shake it off and is not having much success.
Now he gets hit right here on the inside part of the knee, right there, and you see the shin guard stops right there, so he gets right where the shin guard stops.
Well, he's going to try and make a go of it here.
Well, the umpires are tough.
Ricky Leday, 2 down, nobody on, and the changeup is too low. Leday struck out looking his first time. By the way, Gene Monahan is the Yankees trainer, but Steve Donahue is his assistant, and that was Steve Donahue, not Gene Monahan, who was out there administering to the plate umpire, Ed Rapuano. If he was not able to continue, we would be in a delay here for a while, because one of the other umpires would have to go in and put all of the equipment on, all of the equipment that the umpires wear beneath their clothing, the shin guards, the chest protector, everything else, and that could take a good 10 minutes.
And I think the problem there would be what would happen to Pedro. He'd have to sit out there, or, you know, go sit down or whatever in the middle of an inning, and that's not what you like to see, especially in a ball game like this, where one pitch can make the big difference.
Leday, base hit. Stanley and Fry had it surrounded, but somehow it made it through the both of them. And that's the first base hit by a left-handed batter tonight against Pedro Martinez.
And the interesting thing here, John, it's a fastball in, and it's a pretty good pitch, but Leday gets the barrel of the bat out there, and see, they don't expect him to pull the ball against Pedro, but you can see Fry trying to get there. He just can't get there. That's just a clean base hit.
Leday, who hit a home run here yesterday, and he has otherwise struggled most of the early part of the season, so much that there's been a lot of talk the Yankees might be in the market for a left fielder. Sort of first Leday dives back in there. I mean, there have been all kinds of names mentioned. Henry Rodriguez with the Cubs, Jose Canseco, a DH, Matt Stairs with Oakland, and even very big names like Juan Gonzalez. And as long as rumors are going around, I guess some thought, well, let's go for it. And they even had Sammy Sosa on the list.
John, there were so many guys listed there that I was disappointed we weren't on the list. I mean, just I've seen so many. I've seen different names every day.
You think you and I may be going to
we should be. Hey, we should be on the list. I mean, so many names being thrown out there.
Well, there's Brian Cashman, the GM. Tell him. I mean, we were about the only ones not on the
list, right?
List of rumors. Scott Brocious, he's been the Yankees' most successful against Pedro in the past. Not that he's been real successful, but he's been the most of any current Yankee hitter, with 5 hits in 17 career at-bats against Pedro.
And that's surprising a little bit to me, John, because Brocious is a very good fastball hitter, but Pedro's fastball moves in, and he also has a great curveball and a great changeup. So he has the pitches that would bother Brocious. So it's surprising to me that it's not a left-handed hitter that has the most success.
So I'm not surprised at all.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people would be surprised. I realize. Day is running, and he steals it easily. 1-2 the count to Brocious, now with a chance to drive in a run.
Well, I think you have to try to make something happen against great pitchers. I've said this all along. I think you have to run on Maddox. You have to run on these great pitchers, because if you sit there and wait for things to happen, you know, you're just not going to get 3 or 4 base hits in a row. And Leday gets a good jump, and he steals second base.
Here's why I'm not surprised about Brocious and Pedro. Brocious rises to the occasion.
Great pitch right there, though, John. That was a changeup down and away.
Caught at second by Fry. Into threat for the Yankees. We're going to the 6th inning. O'Leary, Valentin, and Varitek against the Rocket. No score.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is brought to you by Heineken. It's all about the beer. Heineken. And by Pfizer, where life is our life's work.
Yankee Stadium with the classic that everybody seemed to be expecting last October. It didn't materialize in the playoffs, but maybe having it in progress here tonight. But now, even this great one that's been going may come screeching to a halt, at least for several minutes, because of the injury sustained by Ed Rapuano. And this is at the end of that inning. I mean, he had to be in amazing pain, Joe, and yet he finished the inning.
Well, they understand the magnitude of the game. They understand that if they make Pedro stand out there for that long while they change into the gear, that it could hurt. So Rapuano decided, I will gut it out for this inning, and then we'll change in between. And I was surprised even that Roger Clemens went out on the mound for a while. He went out there and threw a few pitches, then he realized it's going to be a while, so now he goes back into the dugout.
So we are in a delay here because, as we mentioned before, another umpire, I'm sure right now, is putting the equipment on.
Well, it should be Brian Runge, the guy that's at first base. He's the first base umpire, and you go in rotation, so it should be Brian Runge.
And I'm a little surprised that one of the umpires did not immediately leave the field and go begin the process of getting ready to become the home plate umpire while that inning was still going on, and just go with 3 umpires for a brief time. We might have lessened this delay by a few minutes.
You see the Yankee players are going to go sit in the dugout as well.
So we are in a delay here because of the injury to Ed Rapuano. We hope he's going to be okay, but one of the other umpires is going to have to put the equipment on and become the home plate umpire. And there's Bill Miller, the third base umpire, explaining all that to Jimmy Williams. No score. The Red Sox with 1 hit against Clemens. He has had 8 strikeouts in 5 innings and has faced the minimum number of hitters. 3 hits for the Yankees against Pedro Martinez. He's had 4 strikeouts. It has been magnificent, but now something unforeseen. We have a little bit of a delay. So while we have a little bit of time, let's go back to the studio, and here's Bill Pedro.
John, thank you. As Gumout takes us to San Francisco for the Cubs and the Giants. This is Sammy Sosa the other way, 2 for 3 in the game, and his 16th home run of the year. The Cubs go on to beat San Francisco today. Final score was 4-1.
Cubs went in there and took 2 out of 3 from the Giants over the weekend at their beautiful new ballpark, Pacific Ballpark. Sunday night baseball from Yankee Stadium. No score, as we again are in a delay here. That gives us a chance to remind you about a big full day of baseball on Memorial Day. A Memorial Day tribute where we remember our past heroes with a Major League celebration of today's brightest stars, starting at 1 o'clock Eastern. 16 teams on 2 networks showcasing a national tradition. Baseball on Memorial Day on ESPN and ESPN2, starting with the A's and the Yankees here on ESPN2. Joe and I will be there. Some of you will see the Angels and the Indians. And at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 Pacific, it'll be Houston and Colorado on ESPN, and the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks over on ESPN2 as Big Mac and Jim Edmonds go at it at Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix. Some will see the Cubs and the Braves. And at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Texas Rangers and the Detroit Tigers. The Rangers go up against their old star slugger Juan Gonzalez, now in Detroit at Comerica Park. That'll be on ESPN. And on ESPN2 at 7 Eastern, the New York Mets and the Dodgers from Dodger Stadium, as the Mets go into LA after sweeping the Cardinals in St. Louis.
Well, there you see the numbers. Roger Clemens, of course, looks like he has the better line, but the number that really is important is this one right here in the middle. No run scored yet. Roger Clemens with 8 strikeouts and Pedro with 4. Let's take a look at Clemens' strikeouts. He's started in the first inning with, this is Garcia Parra, and there's Stanley, Daba. I mean, he gets everyone. Jeff Fry. I mean, he just, everything he's doing is he's on top of his game. Good fastballs. He strike him out with fastballs. He get him to chase the splitters out of the strike zone.
So now Clemens has had to shut it down here. And this is a problem, Joe, because when both pitchers have been in their rhythm, they're totally where they want to be. And this disrupts that rhythm.
Well, not only that, John, this is a cool night, as you mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast. Normally, you know, it's pretty warm out here at this time of the year, and everyone will, you know, stay warm. But it's kind of a cool night, and any delay could have an effect on Roger. I think Pedro's okay now because he's finished his inning, and he's got his arm all wrapped up, and he's sitting there. Got his hand wrapped up. Everything's wrapped up there, so he's going to stay warm.
So in some ways, for Roger, who was already on the bench while Pedro was pitching, I mean, this could be like one of those real long innings where the Yankees get 6 or 7 runs and he has to stay in there through 2 or 3 pitching changes and has that long delay. I mean, that's something the pitchers have to cope with from time to time. Well, starting pitchers.
Well, I think the way Roger's throwing, I don't think it's really going to have any effect on him, John, because I think he has his rhythm. And there was always the thought that if you're going to get good pitchers, you have to get them early, because the longer the game goes, the better their rhythm gets and the more confidence they gain. I mean, the guys, you know, Bob Gibson, Sandy Koufax, you didn't get those guys early, you're not going to get them. And I think if you look at the history of the game, guys like Greg Maddux, all the good pitchers, you have to get them early.
Well, nobody's gotten to either one of these pitchers tonight so far. Clemens and Pedro through 5 innings, scoreless, and we're in a delay, and we'll be right back.
12-7.
Hard times continue for the Tigers. Here, Roger Clemens back out there warming up, and we're just about ready to go. The new plate umpires come out. That gives us a chance here to remind you again about the NHL Stanley Cup Finals beginning Tuesday. It'll be the Dallas Stars and Brett Hull up against the New Jersey Devils. Exclusive coverage on ESPN, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Tuesday. Game 2, 8 p.m. Eastern, Thursday on ESPN again, and then Game 3 on Saturday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC Sports. Game 4 on Monday, June 5th, again on ABC, and every other game, if necessary, games 5, 6, and 7 will be on ABC Sports as well. The NHL Stanley Cup Finals. So Roger Clemens, 68 pitches thrown. He really got on a roll. He struck out Jason Varitek to win the 3rd. Then he struck out Fry and Nixon to start the 4th. Dahlback bounced out on a check swing dribbler in front of the plate, and then he struck out Garcia Parra and Everett to start the 5th inning. So he had 5 strikeouts to 6 hitters, and the one hitter he did not strike out hit a 7-foot tapper on a check swing. Brian Runge, who had been the first base umpire, will now take up behind the plate. John Shulock will move over to first base, and Bill Miller is over there at 3rd. Tommy Harper, the first base coach for the Red Sox, a great base stealer, quite a player in his day. You know, at one time held the Red Sox record for steals in a single season. He's wearing a microphone, and with all of the strikeouts and the dearth of runs tonight, he was talking to Paul O'Neill about that a little bit earlier.
But so much, when you see this kind of pitching, so much for the juiced up ball. This pitching will stop all the talk about a juiced up ball. Where are you guys going tomorrow? We're off tomorrow.
Yeah, you see that people do converse while things are slowed down here, but Tommy Harper is right. There are great pitchers. It doesn't matter whether the ball is juiced or not. They're able to dominate the hitters, and that's what we're seeing here tonight. And John, Brian Runge behind the plate is the son of Paul Runge, who was the supervisor of the umpires when they had 2 leagues. He was a National League supervisor and a former teammate of mine in Durham.
Got a whole family line of umpires, right?
Yeah.
Is it Ed Runge before that? Here is O'Leary as we begin play again after a 14-minute delay. And Clemens immediately gets strike 1. O'Leary flied out to right on a 3-2 pitch his first time. Splitter too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Valentin and Varitek will follow. No score, top of the 6th inning.
We'll have to wait and see if the change of umpires affects the pitchers, and that if there is a different strike zone, they're all supposed to be using the same strike zone now. So I would say that this shouldn't have a big effect on what happens here.
But suffice it to say, something that does not often come up.
Right.
2-2.
And especially with a guy like Roger, because Roger keeps a book telling you, where he knows what an umpire's strike zone looks like, which every umpire, he knows if they're high ball umpires, low ball umpires, they're wide umpires, or they have a small strike zone.
Well, the Rocket has the strikeout pitch working tonight. That's number 9, equaling his season's high. 9 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings.
Well, I mean, he is just on top of his game, and as I said, it doesn't appear that the delay affected him at all. There's another splitter right on the outside part of the plate.
Now John Valentin. Foul ball. Valentin grounded to short his first time. Clemens has faced 16 hitters and has struck out 9 of them.
John, maybe while they had the delay, Roger ran up in his locker and looked to see what the strike zone of Brian Runge looks like. Checked his book. So he probably knows exactly what he's doing.
0-1 the count. Base hit. Left center. Leday over to pick it up. So Valentin gets the Red Sox second hit. The only other hit for the Red Sox was Carl Everett's 1-out single in the 2nd inning. But before Clemens really had to get serious about working to the next hitter, he ended up picking off Everett at first base.
I tell you what, that's just good. This is good hitting. Watch where this pitch is. Slider down and away. Look at that, down and away, and only a guy that's leaning out there could hit that pitch. He leans out, gets it, and rips it up the middle for a base hit. That was a good pitch. That was not a bad pitch. It was just great hitting there by Valentin.
Jason Varitek struck out his first time. Switch hitting catcher for the Red Sox. 9 strikeouts, no walk. The runner goes, and he is out by 10 feet. Valentin is really out as Varitek tried to protect him on the hit and run, where the pitcher was right in on his belt buckle.
Good idea by Jimmy Williams, the manager of the Boston Red Sox, to try something to try to change what's going on here with Roger. Not a big lead at first base by Valentin, not a good jump. And again, the ball was so far inside, it just tied Varitek up. He didn't really have a chance to protect him.
That splitter down the left field line. It is foul. Just foul. 0-2 the count to Varitek.
Well, Valentin takes off, and watch Varitek. He tries to protect him way inside. He just tries to get a piece of the ball. He really knew he couldn't put it in play. He just wanted to try to foul it off. He couldn't do so, and perfect throw by Posada, and Valentin is retired.
2 down, nobody on. 0-2 to Varitek. And they rise to their feet again here at Yankee Stadium. Fastball in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So only 2 base runners have been on for the Red Sox, and both of them have been wiped out almost immediately after they arrived on base. See, Posada has been one of the best so far in the American League. I mean, he's Ivan Rodriguez-like. He's thrown out over half of those who attempted to steal while he's been catching. 1-2 the count. Strike swing call to the outside corner. For the first time this year, the Rocket has reached double figures. He's got a 2-hit shutout going. The top of the order coming up for the Yankees against Pedro.